Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Crimes. I, as always, am your host, Tyler Graf von Rebik. That's right, the Graf is back. And this episode is the Slender Man stabbing. And yes, I have a feeling it's going to be dark. I also, you may have noticed, I'm using a laptop, compliments of my beautiful fiance. And she takes so much good care of me. Um, and also, this script was actually provided for me. I didn't write it myself. And so let's see. We'll go ahead and jump right in. I got my coffee here, as usual. It's good stuff. I made the mistake of putting the sugar in before I started. Before I started recording. Before we started recording. So here we are. Intro. Legends and scary stories all over the internet. Legends and scary stories are all over the internet. It's hard to type in something before you come across a suggested story dealing with something scary or haunted. That's true. That's true. I googled my name the other day. Yeah, I know. Who googled his name? I googled my name the other day, and as soon as I got done entering Tyler, something like Tyler the Shredder or Tyler the Murderer something came up, and it was like, what the hell is this? I mean, I know my name is pretty common, but really? Ghost stories especially prove to be quite popular with the masses, especially children. However, upon actual inspection, you'll discover that most of these stories tend to suck and poof out as amateurish attempts to make you piss yourself before you go into bed. Yeah, no joke. If you can, manage to sleep after what you've read about, though. Some, however, tend to go into deep, dark, and triggering territory. One niche in these stories is that of the creepypasta. I know, funky name, right? However, the stories, or pastas, proved to be even funkier. One such pasta was that of Jeff the Killer, who has pale skin, black hair, no eyelids, and tends to cut you, or something. I didn't read much past the exaggerated background of the character. No, that's true. I actually looked into it myself once, and I was like, it was just so full of crap. I stopped. I mean, I know you got to suspend your disbelief, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was stupid. I'm sorry to you out there who might like it. I think it's stupid. Other stories include Ben Downed and Ted the Carver. See, what is that? Ted the Carver, Jeff the Killer, Tyler the Shredder. What? Are y'all that hard for story names? Like, you don't have a good intro for your title? I mean, a good title for your story? What kind of crap is that? See, I write books. I know a little bit about writing, the title to a story. I mean, you want to come up with something fresh and awesome. I'll tell you what I'll do. If I get enough people interested, I'll write a creepypasta. I'll write a creepypasta and see if I can bring out something good. If you'd like that, you know what to do. Like the story. Or like the episode. One of the most famous, if not the most famous, is that of the Slender Man. See, I know that one too and stuff. I wrote a story involving a Slender Man once. I didn't really know much about Slender Man himself, but I actually went ahead and wrote a story about him. I might have taken a few civil liberties, but I mean, it's on the internet, and it was the creepypasta, and I believe it's public domain, I think. If not, I'm scared I might get sued. Uh, this tall, dark, creepy fella tends to live in the woods, wears a black suit like those worn by the Smiths in The Matrix, and has no face. He also has it out for children to become his accomplices or proxies, seeking his approval to live in his mansion in the woods or beyond time. Created in 2009 for a contest by Victor Surge, whose real name is Eric Knudsen. Really? Yeah, I have a cousin named Eric Knudsen. I wonder if he's not telling me everything. No, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a totally different Eric Knudsen. It's actually a really common last name, especially in Denmark. That's where the side of the family's from. Slender Man became one of the most impressive and frightening examples of the creepypasta ever made. However, it would soon be proven that some examples of the best creepypasta or best stories in general can lead to horrible outcomes. Okay, it's quite a cliffhanger. The crime. On Friday, May 30th, 2014, three 12-year-old friends, Morgan Geyser, Anissa Wire, and Peyton Lutner, got together for a slumber party in celebration of Morgan's birthday. The three girls were classmates, and Morgan and Peyton had been friends 2 years before Anissa had come into the picture. Peyton is known for stating that their friendship had gone downhill, but the three stayed friends. However, this slumber party was markedly different than the others because Morgan didn't want to stay up all night. Around this time, Morgan and Anissa had begun to read into the creepypastas and learn all that they could about them. The trio went to sleep, and the next day, on May 31st, the group went to David's Park, which is a wooded area near the town of Waukesha, Wisconsin. Oh, this is in Wisconsin, everyone. FYI. During a visit to the laboratory, that's a restroom, for those who don't know, Anissa attempted to attack Peyton, but relented after she got angry at her. Yeah, if you attack me, I'm going to get pissed too. Like, seriously, that's... What? After this brief spat, the girls decided to play a game of hide-and-seek in the woods. I don't like where this is going. However, in the blink of an eye, Morgan had knocked Peyton down and began to stab her friend with a kitchen knife that she had hidden, while Anissa stood by and watched. Oh my God. Peyton was stabbed multiple times, including 5 times on her arm, 7 on her leg, and a myriad more on her torso. Good God. Anissa and Morgan told Peyton that they would find help after finishing the stabbing, escaping into the woods, and leaving her to die. Surprisingly, Peyton didn't die, and in fact had managed to pull herself to a nearby road. That's a strong girl. That's awesome. While out on a morning ride, frequent cyclist Greg Steinberg happened to take the route through the brush and stopped dead in his tracks when he came across the body of Peyton Lutner, who was still alive but bleeding heavily. I can imagine that. Like, you're just riding your bike through like the forest, and it's just the sun's come up and the birds are singing, and you look over and suddenly you see a badly injured young girl. Oh my God, that would freak me out. Like, I was a security officer in Tulsa, and I remember coming across a deceased corpse, a deceased person on one of my patrols, and it just shocked me. Like, I could not believe it. I mean, I checked to make sure I didn't want to move the corpse or anything, but I checked to make sure that, if they were still alive or not. They weren't. I had to call the police, fill out a report. Oh my God. Where was I? Right. She called to him, asking to call help, and he immediately called 911 on his cell phone while offering her water. He stayed there, comforting her, as can be heard on the recorded 911 call, until the ambulance arrived for Peyton. We don't currently have a recording of that call, so if you want to look it up on YouTube, go right ahead. Hours later, a policeman had come into contact with Joe and Stacy Lutner, informing them that about their daughter, and bringing them to the hospital where Peyton was receiving intensive surgery. Meanwhile, Anissa and Morgan continued their trek into the woods, searching for the Slenderman's mansion, which, according to creepypasta, is supposedly in the Nicollet National Forest. The two were quickly arrested near Interstate 94 as the Steinhoffel's furniture store. They had walked 4.9 miles, carrying a bag that contained the knife Morgan had used to attack Peyton. Oh. Damn. Investigation. The attack left Peyton Lutner with 25 scars. 2 of the wounds had been to major organs, one narrowly missing a major artery in her heart by 0.5 millimeter, while another had cut through her diaphragm and pierced her stomach and liver. Oh, it just hurts to think about. By all accounts, she was lucky to be alive, and she was released after 6 days in the hospital. That's good. Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire were interrogated at the Waukesha Police Department. The girls first pointed fingers at each other, but it soon became clear that Geyser was the one who had committed the stabbings, while Wire had simply watched. While their intentions were not immediately known, the girls had become so heavily involved in the Slenderman stories that they immediately began to believe they were hearing him contact them and provoke them to please him. Oh, that sounds... Well, it's like, what was that Nakata guy? He was hearing God tell him to kill people. I think one of them might be a schizophrenic. Geyser believed if they successfully sacrificed someone to Slenderman, he would grant them the honor of being his proxies and bring them to live in his mansion. She revealed she felt no empathy or regret about the murder. However, damn. However, Anissa Ware indeed admitted to feeling guilty over what had happened, but believed that Slenderman would murder her entire family if she didn't go through with this. He's not real. No one's going to murder your whole family. Damn. Like I see why the friendship is going downhill. They didn't go through with the sacrifice. That couldn't imagine that. You know, that's insane. Like I know that's. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but that's horrible. I mean, to get so involved in something and believe that something's gonna hurt you, that something that doesn't exist is gonna hurt you, unless you do that. That's damn. That's terrible. Trial and aftermath. Geyser was charged with attempted first-degree murder, and Wire was with attempted second-degree murder. The nature of the crime was so grisly that the girls were waived out of juvenile court and set to be tried as adults. Oh, that means that there's some serious prison time if they get convicted, which I'm pretty sure they will. In 2017, Anissa Wire pleaded guilty to being an accessory to attempted second-degree murder. However, the jury found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. Oh, that must be like a successful pleading insanity. Although she pled guilty, so I guess that they automatically found her insane. She was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison, including 3 years locked confinement and involuntary treatment at a state psychiatric institute, followed by communal supervision until age 37. On March 10th, 2021, Wire submitted a letter that announced that she was sorry and regretful for the agony, pain, and fear caused not just to Peyton but to everyone in the community, and that while she hates her actions, she no longer hates herself. This after countless hours of therapy. I don't know if I could accept that, but I would do my best. But I don't know. This has never really happened to me, so I don't really know. On September 13th, 2021, Anissa Wire was released under a plethora of stipulations, including 24-hour GPS monitoring, inability to leave Waukesha County without permission, monitored internet access, and no social media accounts of any kind. She's just in prison forever. I mean, like, I admit I'm on Facebook a lot. I am, and I have an Instagram account that I don't really use, and I did, but I don't now. And I had MySpace when it first came out, and I've had a Snapchat in the past, and I've had a My Yearbook, and I have multiple email addresses on Gmail. I admit, if I didn't have the ability to contact any of my family or friends, or use YouTube or anything like that, I'd probably go crazy. I probably would become I'm not saying I'll become a murderer, but I'm saying that I would probably lose my mind. I'd become like a caveman or something. I'd go back to I'd probably draw Facebook logo on the wall, and set the wall would be like my Facebook page, and I'd write in somebody's story from my mind, and then I'd write comments on it, and then write their comments back, and then their comments. I have a feeling that's how a lot of people today would probably do it if this suddenly happened, and that probably shows that I need to get the hell off the internet. She also must continue to take her medication, attend escorted counseling sessions, and live with her father. I don't know. It didn't say anything about her father being a bad person, so maybe that's not a bad thing. Morgan Geyser accepted a plea offer where she would not go to trial and instead would be evaluated by a team of psychiatrists to calculate how long she would be in a mental hospital. She did later plead guilty, but like Wire, was found not guilty due to a mental disease or defect. She was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, a disease that her father also suffers from. Oh. I don't know. Have they discovered if that's hereditary? I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know. The determinant sentence was 40 years to life in prison, 3 years locked confinement, and a treatment in a psychiatric hospital, either until a complete elimination of symptoms or the age of 53, whichever may come first. However, she will also be under communal supervision and potential reinstitution as imposed by the sentence. Yeah, she doesn't sound like she's getting out of prison anytime soon. Geyser petitioned the court to be retried as a juvenile in 2020. What? How can you get retried as a juvenile? That makes no sense. Like, are your appeals? Have you exhausted all your other appeals? You're gonna retry me as a juvenile because I was 12 years old at the time. I did an adult crime, but I was just a kid. So retry me as a kid. No, they're not gonna retry you as a kid. What are you, like in your 20s now? And then even then, you'd be like 30 something years old, and you still be and you want to. And they're not gonna retry you as a child. In 2020, but this was rejected, and in 2021, the Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to hear or even approve or even hear the appeal. Well, I could have told you that would have happened, and I'm not even a lawyer. Following the attack, the creepypasta site was blocked in the Waukesha School District. Slenderman creator Eric Knudsen stated that he was deeply saddened by the tragedy and that his heart went out to the families, while creepypasta administrator Sloshed Train stated the incident was isolated and did not accurately portray nor represent the creepypasta community. The site is literary and does not condone murder nor satanic ritual. Well, yeah, of course not. But it talks about it. I mean, okay, I guess that's bad. I guess that's like going to the Satanic Temple in what, Oklahoma City, and then going out and sacrificing a goat and saying, "Oh, they told me to." No, they didn't. You just got that in your head. Members of the creepypasta community did a 24-hour live stream on YouTube to raise money for the victim. Well, I certainly hope they didn't, provoke anybody else with mental issues to do bad things. While the city of Madison, Wisconsin held a festival selling brats and hot dogs to raise money for Peyton's medical costs, ultimately raising over $70,000. Now that's nice. That's good. I like that. Community getting together to help someone. You don't see that very often anymore. Well, I'm sure you see it all the time now, but growing up, I didn't see that very often. Peyton Luttner stayed away from the limelight, granting an interview for the first time on 2020 in October 24th, 2019, 5 years after the attack, stating that she had more or less recovered and revealed that if she ever saw Geyser again, she would probably thank her because the attack had led her to pursue a career in medicine. Okay. She's a nicer person than I am. If someone tries to stab me to death, I see them again and stuff, I'm going to stab my fist in their face. In September 2021, following Anissa Wire's release, it was revealed that Luttner had moved out of Waukesha and currently attends a college in an undisclosed location as a sophomore. Well, more power to her. I hope she, God bless her on her journey, and, don't go looking for her. Whatever you do, like if you're listening to this, it's undisclosed for a reason. She doesn't want to be found. She wants to live her life away from the limelight of being a potential murder victim. So please don't go looking for her. Don't go tracking her down. Don't turn into Scooby-Doo and be super sleuthing it out there. Just leave her the fuck alone and let her do what she wants to do. And don't go after that Wire person either, because, don't stalk and harass people. It's not cool. It's not fun. And if you do it and it gets caught, you better believe I'm going to hear about it. I'm going to make an episode about it. And I will taunt you with this episode. Okay, I won't taunt you because then I could be like, that would be considered harassment too. Just don't do it, okay? Be a good person. Be cool. Be cool. Final notes. On January 23rd, 2017, a documentary called Beware the Slender Man was aired on HBO. A season 16 episode of Law & Order SVU, Special Victims Unit, titled Glasgowman's Wrath, really, was shown and loosely based itself on this case. Hey, I saw that episode. That was pretty cool. it was dark. It was Special Victims Unit, so naturally you knew it was going to be dark. As did the Criminal Minds episode, The Tall Man. I have like practically every season of Criminal Minds. I don't think I've ever seen that episode. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I probably have watched it, and I just don't remember. I'm gonna go back and rewatch it now. Several feature films were made on the case. Most of them were crap, but the one I actually had the pleasure of watching was in 2018. The film Slenderman was released, starring Joey King. The film made 52 million bucks and got shitty reviews, with one of the actresses earning the Golden Raspberry for Worst Supporting Actress. Oh my God! I would laugh even more about that. But I recently won an award. I won the Golden Toilet Award for Worst Self Help Book of 2022 with my book. A shameless plug, but The Epic Guide to Overcoming Anxiety, which literally just says breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out on every page. I might share the link to it on the Amazon link to it in the details section. But yeah, that was the Slenderman stabbing. I would say that was pretty horrible. That was a pretty horrible crime. I mean, it's good that I think this might be one of the only cases we've read so far where the victim actually lived, and that no victims actually died in this story. So we're moving up in the world. We're moving up, and then next time we're gonna go back down, I imagine. Anyways, I've been your host, Tyler Graf von Rebik, and I'll see you next time.